English singer-songwriter Liam Payne died from a fall from his hotel room in Argentina just days ago on October 16. He was just 31 years old at his time of death. If you understand a little bit about numerology, his untimely departure coincides with what we call his Tsunami Year, or rather his personal year number 9. Now, what is the personal year 9? This is a stage in our lives where some things just come to a close, either metaphorically or literally. And do we all have one? Well, let's find out. Liam James Payne was born on the 29th of August 1993. To calculate his personal year number in 2024, and you can certainly do the same for yourself as well, we add up his day of birth number with the month of birth number and then total them up together with the year itself. And if you do up the summation properly for him, Liam Payne's personal year in 2024 is number 9, just right after his 31st birthday this year. And because 9 is the last number of the numeral system 1 to 9, the number 9 often comes to represent the climax, consolidation, and closure for how you have lived and worked for the past 9 years. Hence, in a person's year 9, usually there will be events that will signal to you the ending of something major. Now, most year 9s can be rather uneventful, but with regards to timing, the rule of numerology is this: if we have not resolved our underlying problems, improved ourselves, and face our inner demons for the past 9 years, then when it comes to the 9th year, everything that you have been denying, ignoring, swept under the carpet will generally boil to the surface. It is likely you may experience uncomfortable situations such as the sudden ending of a long, exhausted relationship, whether it is personal or professional, forced departures, unwilling closures, or even significant health issues. It is almost as if life is forcing your hand to move on to the next 9 years of your life, whether you want to or not. It is no wonder that amongst us numerologists and astrologers alike, we often call the personal year 9 as the Tsunami Year, or the year of your personal Armageddon. Now, by this time, you would have read a lot of news reports surrounding Liam Payne's demise. The fatal accident was just actually the tip of the iceberg. Shortly after he celebrated his most recent birthday in August, Liam Payne's year 9 began, and quite immediately his Armageddon took effect. In early October, his record label Capitol Records, which is a subsidiary of Universal Music, dropped him for reasons that are non-specified. In the same period, his publicist resigned. And then on October 14th, 48 hours before his death, his ex-fiancée Maya Henry, an influencer, started legal proceedings against him. A source close to the singer said that Liam Payne was quote-unquote extremely overwhelmed by all of the legal issues. Coupled with his mental issues, history of substance abuse, as well as medical illnesses, it is no wonder that Liam Payne's personal year 9 has proven fatal for him. Of course, him being 31 years old, this is not the first time Liam Payne has gone through a year 9. In fact, you can see that for all his previous year 9s, something unhappy tends to happen. His first personal year 9 happened when Liam Payne was only 4 years old. He was born 3 weeks early, and up to the age of 4, he was in and out of the hospital because one of his kidneys wasn't working properly. As detailed in an autobiography in 2011, he wrote that it got to the stage where he needed 32 injections each day just to keep him alive. His next personal year 9 struck when Liam Payne was 13 years old in 2006. Again documented in his 2011 autobiography, he mentioned that he was traumatized by school bullies from the 6th form, and that was actually what prompted him to take up boxing lessons back then. And his next personal year 9 was actually widely publicized as a global event. In January 2016, One Direction formally announced that the band would go on an indefinite hiatus. It was tremendous news because at the height of the band's popularity in 2015, One Direction was widely hailed as the biggest boy band in the world. And to step away from all that, one can only imagine the sense of loss that he might have felt back then. But don't get me wrong, not everyone who goes through a personal year 9 will experience death. Liam Payne's case, of course, is very much an extreme one, given his history of drug and substance abuse, and of course dealing with separation from the biggest boy band in history. And as a celebrity, life is always lived bigger than the rest of us. And yet, Liam Payne's year 9 problems could have been avoided if someone had taught him a little bit about numerology, for him to realize early on what he needed to focus on and resolve for the past 9 years before his personal year 9 arrives. So what is it that he needed to do during his year 9? According to numerology, the solution is quite simple, and it lies in what we call the corresponding challenge number to your year 9. So what what exactly is this challenge number? Well, let me show you. To calculate the challenge number, we subtract the birth month number with the birthday number. And hence, Liam Payne's challenge number to his personal year 9 is the number 6. Now, the number 6 in numerology is governed by the planet Venus. And Venus rules relationships. In essence, it governs how we connect or disconnect with ourselves, our partners, our friends, family, and work colleagues. And if Venus is being challenged, it results in the very abuse of such relationships, both personal and professional. And if Venus also rules love, as a challenge, it becomes an inability to recognize love, receive love, and to give love. It also results in an inability to love yourself, hence leading to self-destructive behavior. As a planet, Venus also rules the lower torso organs in our human body, especially the kidneys. And by now, you would have noticed that most of Liam Payne's problems are actually relationship problems, as personified by the challenge number 6, such as the relationship with himself, his body, relationship with his lovers, relationship with his work, and most importantly, his relationships with his friends. Now, why do I say that? Reading through his past interviews, you do get a feeling that he was deeply hurt by his friendships with his ex-bandmates from One Direction. Already, we can imagine the usual tensions of pulling together 4 headstrong young men into a group not of their choosing, and this was actually reported in The Guardian back in 2019. But for Liam Payne, this was further complicated by the fact that he was chosen by his music company's management to be the mature one, the sensible one, the one to keep the rest of the boys in line. At first, he relished the role of the big brother, but as he performed his duties, he realized that the other boys reacted negatively, and maybe that was when his friendships and bonds with them became very strained. Now, for those of us who has ever been in a leadership role, being the responsible one is not often the most liked person in a room. I mean, who likes someone who is always telling you no? And in Liam Payne's case, that stings. Now, torn between duty and a brotherly love for his bandmates that was never quite returned, this was perhaps something that Liam Payne never got over all through the rest of his life. And he would spend the rest of his years thereafter trying to resolve this awkwardness and regrets with them. Now, typically for the average person, such episodes in our lives would simply be treated as a bad memory, a lesson learned, or just another passing experience. But for someone going through challenge number 6, they tend to be made to go through situations where the way they try to relate to others is not being understood, appreciated, nor reciprocated. And for a 6 challenge number, such people cannot accept that they are not being loved in return, or at least not being loved in the way they want to. And in some cases, they might then seek out love in all the wrong places with all the wrong people. And since 2016, after One Direction split up, he had a series of short-lived relationships with high-profile women such as X Factor judge Cheryl Cole, former supermodel Naomi Campbell, influencers such as Maya Henry and Kate Cassidy, and even a rumored one with an Argentinian businessman. In fact, at the night of his accident, he was reported to be in the company of 2 prostitutes. I would like to add that sometimes the challenge number 6 also means that a person does not have realistic expectations of himself. Now, perhaps Liam Payne was comparing his own achievements with One Direction's peak of success back in 2015. After all, at the height of its popularity, One Direction was known as the biggest boy band in the world. Or worse, he might have compared himself to others' success, given that the solo careers of his ex-bandmates such as Zayn Malik and Harry Styles were growing in popularity. To add context, Liam Payne was actually quite successful after the One Direction split. In 2016, he scored a very lucrative deal with Universal Music at just the tender age of 22. In 2019, as well as in 2020, he was appointed a global brand ambassador for Hugo Boss, and his songs today remain one of the most popular on Spotify. His 2017 single Strip That Down to date has been downloaded more than 2 billion times. But it doesn't matter that Liam Payne was actually quite successful post One Direction. What matters more was that Liam Payne doesn't think so himself, and we know from media reports that he has battled mental issues and suicidal ideation for years. And to be overwhelmed by the challenges presented to him in the number 6 during his personal year 9, Liam Payne deserves our heartfelt empathy. And as we are coming to the end of this video, I would like to repeat again that the personal year 9 is not something to be afraid of. It is not fatal. You just need to prepare ahead and know how to deal with your own personal year 9 when it comes, and to understand how to use your corresponding challenge number to counter it. So if your challenge number is a 6 during your 9 9-year cycle, make sure you have realistic expectations of relationships, develop healthy ways of connecting with people, practice self-care, honor your body, and do not succumb to quick fix addictions to numb your disappointments with those who do not appreciate your love. Of course, sometimes in the depths of our depression, it is not easy to do so, but at least you can try to recognize that you do not need to become a victim of your own overly idealistic way of looking at the world. Let go, let loose, and let be. Now, death is truly a very, very delicate matter, and I hope I have given this topic as much compassion and sensitivity as it deserves. Rest in peace, Liam. I hope we will all continue to be blessed by the energy of your songs, and will you always be remembered as the artist you truly long to be.